recently there was a report that came out from Greg Bedard, hopefully I'm saying that right, from Boston Sports Journal, that he's hearing concerns about the Pats' offensive stats.
Oh, brother.
Offensive staff. Last year they went 10-7, made the playoffs, got embarrassed by the Bills in wild card round. Is this a year that the Patriots finally fall off? I know after Tom Brady left, they didn't make the playoffs, but then they bounced back right after. Now, there's a lot of question marks around them. Will the Patriots' offensive questions lead to a bad season, or are you more worried about the defense in the Patriots' case? I mean, who knows? How do you feel about the Patriots going into 2022?
You want me to go? Sure. I'll say this. This team on paper is not good.
It's not, bro.
I don't mean to laugh at them. But at the same time, you have to respect Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is too good to allow this team to be as bad as I'm predicting them to be, which is why I'm acknowledging that fact. I could be very wrong because Bill Belichick's the greatest head coach arguably in sports. But I look at this team and I look at their wide receiver core, and Devontae Parker is their wide receiver one. I'm one of the bigger Kendrick Bourne fans that you will meet, and for him to be a prominent piece in this offense is concerning to me. You can't ignore their rushing ability with Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, but you can't ignore the fact that Ted Karras is gone and Shaq Mason is gone as well. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, is their defense anywhere, should I be impressed by any means? The defense does not have any big names, no real presence on the line. Linebackers are weak. Their secondary unit really is McCourty, and who after that?
Carl Duggar,
Excuse me, I apologize. Yes,
yeah, but even still,
he's good.
I'm looking at this team, and if Mac Jones,
is Gabe Davis good?
It really comes down to Mac Jones. If Mac Jones takes a strong stride in his development, maybe this team will be better than I'm predicting them to be. But if Mac Jones continues to play the way that he played this past season, and this past season is basically around what you'll see out of Mac Jones for the rest of his career, Patriots are screwed. Now I'll say this. I'm just going to come out with it. I have them going 5-12. This is not a really good football team. I'll tell you the wins that I have, and I really was there was some that I'm being generous. Like at Pittsburgh, I gave them a win. I don't know if I feel great about that. At Cleveland, I don't know if I feel great about that. It's still within that 6 games, so that's why I was able to go with New England winning. I have them beating Chicago. I'm not going to be that disrespectful. I have them splitting with the Jets. That's a win.
What'd you have with Detroit?
Oh, I have Detroit beating them. I have Detroit beating them. And I have them in Week 17 beating Miami. Those are my 5 wins.
I'm shocked you gave them the win over Miami.
You still have to respect Bill Belichick.
2-3-0
against the Pats. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Miami.
Facts.
He's not losing to another team that he hasn't lost to.
Okay, swiftly moving on. I was thinking about the Patriots, and I was like, this team is bad, right? Like, not to be rude, but there's no explosive players. There's no one on this team that really excites me. And their comp for me, like, if you did an NBA comp, I think they're the Spurs. I think they have that.
Yo, that is scarily accurate.
They have Popovich and Belichick. You always think the brand, they've won championships. They've had all-time guys. They've had all-time head coaches. And we kind of think of them every year. They're going to be in the mix. They're going to make the playoffs. And the Spurs has been a few years, but the Spurs lost Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, Kawhi. The Patriots lost Tom Brady and a bunch of other guys to go with it. Shaq Mason fell off, Julian Edelman over the years, and the list goes on and on. Gronk, Aaron Hernandez, RIP. All these guys that they've lost all of their superstars, all the guys that really made the Patriots the dynasty they have. It's been a while, obviously since they've been that dynasty, but it's hard for me to look at this team and what are they going to be really good at? They're going to run the ball with Ramondre and Damian Harris. They'll probably have a top 15 offensive line again, even without Shaq Mason. I still think they'll be solid. But again, it's like I said about the running backs, they're good. They're not special. Mac Jones is good. He's not special. Hunter Henry's good. He's not special. The receivers are decent. There's
some
nothing.
Respect on Damian Harris, bro.
There's nothing. Damian Harris is going to be a Patriot next year when his contract's up?
Because Ramondre's that good.
Unlikely. And Ramondre 2 years from now when his contract's up, he's probably going to be gone.
Well, they specialize in,
I know,
in cycling
but
to running backs.
if they get a special guy, that's why I don't think no one on this team is special. Their defensive line, again, it's special. It's good, but it's not special. Like you need, especially in the AFC, you need to have guys that you're going to go up against, the Josh Allens, the Sean, Mahomes, all of these guys who are game-breaking type players, where the Patriots just don't have anything to really back that up. So I went through their schedule. I'll be honest, I went through it and they went 3-14. I was like, I'm wilding. Like I need to find some wins here because I'm getting disrespectful. I have their wins: Week 5 against Detroit, Week 7 against Chicago, Week 11 against the Jets, Week 17 against Miami. Those are the 4 wins I have that I feel pretty comfortable with, splitting the division games with the Jets and Miami, and then 2 kind of lesser teams. I'm gonna give them an extra 1 or 2 wins. They could beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, or Cleveland if they don't have Deshaun by week 6. So I think they'll probably win 5, maybe 6 games.
I'm actually not low on the Patriots offense whatsoever. It's hard for me to find a world where their offense is not a top 15 offense.
What?
Last year it was a top 10 offense, and they got better this year. They just added Devontae Parker. And that for them is getting better because they had he's their best receiver now.
I understand what you're saying.
He's not their best receiver.
The offensive line,
Kendrick Bourne. Yeah.
He's better than
the offensive line is still going to be somewhat good. I mean, David Andrews, Michael Onwenu, Trent Brown. You have Isaiah Wynn on the left side, Cole Strange, although people laughed at the pick. He's not a bad player. You have a top 5 running back tandem. They were a top 3 rushing attack last year, probably still going to be that at least top 5 rushing attack. And Mac Jones, his ability to be cerebral. You now have Jonnu Smith in his second year within that Pats offense. Jonnu Smith, we know when he was in Tennessee was a game breaker.
He's mad.
Hunter Henry.
And he's a good blocker.
Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne. Like, I think their offense is not the problem. To me, the biggest problem for the Patriots is the defense.
Defense is
but
bad.
The reason why nobody's talking about it is because Bill Belichick is a defensive guru. He can maximize any personnel. But the truth about it is that their defense is not very good. On their defensive line, their best edge rusher is Matt Judon. He's good. He's not great. Christian Barmore showed flashes last year, but he didn't play too many snaps to warrant him now being a 3-down tackle now, which is going to have to be. Their linebackers, I did like the addition of Eric Wilson. I think that was a great addition because it now brings speed to their linebacking core, a guy who can cover. So I like that. Jawan Bentley, he's okay. But you're talking about a Pats team that their best cornerback is probably Jalen Mills. You're talking about a Pats team that Jonathan Jones last year did not have a good season. They just re-signed Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler is way past what he used to be. He's an average player now. You cannot win in the AFC with your best corner being Jalen Mills. I like their safety duo. I like Kyle Duggar a lot. I like Devin McCourty. But the problem to me with the Patriots is their defense. I'm not concerned with the offense. I think the offense will be just fine. I like McDaniels a lot. Maybe he makes a bigger impact, but how many times have we seen coordinators be shuffled out of New England and then they're still the same? Brian Hoyer right now is the backup quarterback. He knows this system inside and out. He's been in New England for years now. He's been in this system as a backup for years. I think just him being in the building is enough to not worry too much about Josh McDaniels not being in the building.
The issue I have with what you're saying is you think the defense is going to be bad. That means
I think it's going to be bottom 20 defense.
That means they have to put up points on offense. Where are these points coming from? You're not going to be able to run the ball constantly if Buffalo is putting up 30 points on you. We saw that in the playoffs. They couldn't stop Buffalo. Now, Buffalo's a different breed. They're the best team in the league, according to me. But you look at the schedule. Yeah, I think everybody outside of Chicago has a better offense than them.
You're right, but look at this. But Pittsburgh doesn't have the offense to put up numbers on them.
Yes, they
debatable.
do.
Yeah, they have.
No, they do not.
The weapons.
Yes, they do.
The weapons they
Who
easily
is their
do.
quarterback?
That's the thing. I agree with you.
Well, that's why I
agree
said
with
that.
you. But I mean, Mitch just has to be average, and they could win some games.
Detroit, no. They don't have the offense to put up numbers on them, bro. Come on.
They have just as good of an offensive line. They have Swift. They have Jameson, Amon-Ra, Hawkinson.
Goff. It's gonna be.
But Jared
we're
Goff
not going to disrespect Jared Goff,
bro.
He's an average quarterback.
He definitely.
What are you talking about?
He's an average quarterback.
Well, yeah.
Jared Goff played a lot better than expectations led last season.
The Lions' weapons are far better than the Patriots.
Chicago.
Definitely.
Are they putting up points on
No,
the Patriots?
no.
What about the Jets?
Yes.
No,
Which
they're
is why
not.
I gave them a
No, they're not.
The Jets?
They're not putting up points
Question:
on the
Are they dropping
Patriots.
both to the Jets?
I think it's going to split.
Okay, I agree.
It's gonna
So
split.
let's move on.
Yeah, and outside of that, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, there are some
What's the
teams that they don't have
record?
to keep.
After all this
My
conversation.
record is 7-10.
Oh, I'd love to hear these extra wins.
Okay, well, let's just go from the beginning. At Miami, I think they lose. At Pittsburgh, I think that's a winnable game.
I agree.
Versus Baltimore, I think that's a loss.
Agreed.
Green Bay, that's a loss. Detroit, that's a win for me.
Wow.
At Cleveland, no Deshaun, that's possibly a win for me.
I agree.
Chicago, that's a win for me. So we're at Chicago, Cleveland, Detroit, Pittsburgh. That's 4 wins.
And that's if things go right in a couple of situations.
At the Jets, split. Versus Indy, I think they lose. Versus New York at home, I think they win versus the Jets. At Minnesota, I don't think they win. Even though Minnesota doesn't have a good rush defense, so that can go either way as well. Buffalo, they lose. At Arizona, I think they lose. At Las Vegas, Bill Belichick has his number over his former coaches. That could be a win. I know Las Vegas is more talented, but Las Vegas doesn't have a good run defense.
I understand
either.
your rationale.
They can win that game. Versus Cincinnati, I think that's a loss. I think they beat Miami week 17. And then Buffalo, I think they lose. But that's six games. If you count the Las Vegas one, that's 7. So I think they can win those games.
Yeah, I mean, I said 5 or 6, so 7's not ridiculous.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, look, I
it's
just
a rough-
personally, I like Mac Jones.
I know.
I think Mac Jones
I
is
know
not
you
a
do.
bad quarterback. I
It's
think Mac
hard-
Jones is a good quarterback.
It's hard when you have a bad defense, and I don't think your offensive weapons can
Yeah.
keep up with your defense.
But then again, it's like, what if Bill Belichick does manage to get the most out of his defense and it's a top 15 unit? Like, I think there's a world where the Patriots have a top 15 offense and defense. So that's the world that I'm kind of living in right now.
You're living in some world.
Because I just can't totally count out the Patriots. I just can't. I can't do it.
Nah, screw 'em.
I
You
can't
can't.
do
You
it.
can't. I mean, as long
Not
as
yet.
Bill
I
Belichick-
have to see the demise and crumbling and the downfall for real. I need to see fire in order for me to be like,
I
yep, it's over. I got to get the fire extinguisher and just put it out.
You know, it sickens me how high you are on the Jets and Zach Wilson. You say we can't put up points on this defense.
Because Bill Belichick, he confuses everybody.